Howdy folks, welcome back to the TJR Auto channel. My name is Tyler. This right here is my favorite vehicle, Holly. And in today's video, I didn't plan on touching this truck, but of course, we're touching this truck. When you walk out to your vehicle at the end of a hot, long day at work, and you see a huge puddle underneath, like out from underneath it because there's so much fluid on the ground. And when you parked it at 5:45, 5:50 in the morning, it was fine. There was no, everything's fine. I always stand there for a minute and look at my car because A, I admire them because usually I like my vehicles, and B, just make sure it doesn't like spontaneously combust, which at this point I wish this one did. But I did my normal look and the truck was fine. So walked in, clocked in for work, and away I was doing all my work stuff. Not a single thought about this lovely steed of a truck. And then as I'm going to leave work, I walk out and I see the big puddle coming out from underneath in this area. It was very large. It was probably this big, right? So I go smack my hand in it, give it a whiff, give it a look, give it a taste. And it's my favorite thing in the world. It's an orange fluid, and it rhymes with Rex Cool. So on a beautiful, sunny, 95-degree day, I decide to drive one of my two vehicles that don't have AC instead of driving my trusty old steed Bonnie, who does have AC. I took this because I said, you know what? I did something nice to it, which I'll show you guys. You probably saw it in the clip anyways, but cat's out of the bag. I painted the wheels black. Looks pretty damn cool if I do say so myself. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take my awesome looking truck to work today. It's so good, but it's not good anymore. So I couldn't tell where the coolant was coming out from underneath of it. This truck does still have two skid plates, or one metal skid plate and one plastic skid plate thingy. So first things first, we got to pop those off and see where the hell our leak actually is, see what the hell took a shit, and kind of go from there. All right, so obviously when I got the truck towed home, basically the guy dropped it off across the street. I bombed it into the driveway. It's been parked for a little while. So now, pulled it in the garage. It's been sitting for a couple minutes. I obviously didn't let it warm up or anything. Just started it, jammed the thing in gear, and moved it here. But earlier when I was at work, me and my coworker, shout out to you, Keith, you are my rock. But we filled up the coolant reservoir with water just to see what it would do. And it's honestly been holding more than I would expect it to. But when we were filling it up with the truck running, there's just a constant drip underneath the truck. And the truck's been sitting here for maybe 5 minutes, and it's already leaked that much. But like I said, our skid plate is mainly catching it and kind of diverting it. So gotta get these two skid plates off, and then we can kind of see what we're really working with. We got those two covers off, so now we can really get a look at everything. So we can see all the way back to here is wet. And once again, it's dripping orange, so we know it's coolant, smells like it. And it's basically where the skid plate had it dropping out. But see, everything's pretty wet in here, so that's that's that. And if we look back, this side of the oil pan is also dripping coolant, and everything over here is just wet. So I followed up the side of the motor. I didn't see anything, but when we look up from here behind the water pump, go figure, so I can shove you, oh, can't really shove you in there, but back there, see, it's kind of glistening. That looks pretty wet. And if I'm right about it, which I think I am, that is where the water pump, one of the inlet or outlets is into the engine. So looks like the old girl's gonna need a water pump. This thing is crusty and dusty, but yeah, and of course the AC compressor is dead locked up. That thing's dead seized. So that's good. Alrighty, it is the next day. Ordered some parts last night. So while we wait for the parts to come in, might as well tear this thing apart, get everything cleaned up, and go from there. And hope that I don't need more parts. I mean, while I'm in here, there's a million different things that I could do once all of this stuff is out. It would be nice to get a lot of stuff changed and replaced. And, while I'm in here, I might as well do this. But I could literally spend $1,000 on doing that stuff. And it's like, while I'm in here doing all of this, I might as well just cam it, do lifters, head gap, you know what I mean? So it's like, no, we got to draw the fine line. So we're going to try to primarily just fix the issue we're having, and down the road, we'll tackle the other problems that this truck has. But let's get her torn down and see what we got. Well. Finally, got the water pump pulled off. Here's the old girl. Unfortunately, I only broke one bolt, and it's one of the only bolts I didn't buy, so I will probably have to source one, or hopefully I have something laying around that might fit the thermostat housing, which is there. And the reason I took the thermostat housing off with this hose connected is these have, I've never seen these before. It basically just comes with this knob on it, and you twist it. This one is not happy, so that's going to be fun to get off. But I did order a new thermostat. I was hoping to reuse the housing. The other bolt looks fine, so we'll see. But here's the old thermostat. I'll probably end up reusing these bolts because they do look relatively clean. And it's nothing crazy. It's a water pump, so. But it looks like it was actually starting to weep from up here. This looks pretty nasty up top, so I think that's kind of funny. But we can see just all the corrosion built up around here, so it's probably been leaking for a while, if we're going to be honest. Front of the motor don't look any better. This is the side that was leaking, so those gaskets look beautiful. Same with that one. So I did pretty good. Caught almost all of the watery, well, basically just watered down coolant, since I filled this thing with a garden hose yesterday, just to, be safe to run it. But now that everything's off, I can take a breather, I can get everything cleaned up, and we're basically just waiting on parts now. So with a lot of elbow grease, this is our final product. I mean, I could use more elbow grease, but at the end of the day, all of this is covered up. I really don't care. But I figure, at least for reassembly, and then in the future, whenever I end up doing the AC and, whatever other stuff, or camming this thing, whatever, yada, 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 I figure we might as well clean everything up, degrease it, and I might as well throw a coat of paint on the front of the block and the timing cover, just for whoosies. So I have some high temp primer, which I will clean this probably another 1 or 2 more times. Throw some primer on, we'll get some black paint on it. Then I'll clean up our gasket surfaces, get our alternator and power steering pulley thing, bracket back up. I might even paint this too. We'll see how much paint I have left over. But dude, I literally got an inch of sludge off that cross member and everything underneath this. So no matter what the case is, it's always nicer working in a cleaner environment. And I would say this was definitely worthwhile. So that's good. And then I figure I actually bought one of these throttle body gaskets when I was building the GTO. I had ordered a wrong one, which obviously is for the truck and not the car. So I have one of these left over that's brand new. I figure might as well pull the throttle body, clean everything here, do the new gasket. And I'm happy I did, because I found out that the connector was loose, so that's not good. This thing is crusty looking on the inside, and the backside's not much better. So I'll give this a good cleaning. Everything will be nice, clean, and ready for my parts to go on. Well, folks, this thing ain't no show truck, but, now it's got a rebuilt motor, so that's pretty cool. came out pretty decent still. Once the paint dries a bit more, I'm gonna use a razor blade very carefully, scrape off, make sure that these gasket surfaces are good and ready to go. Then we can get the accessories mounted back up. I figured no point really painting this bracket. Leave a little bit of different colors on the motor. Why not? Because we have dust, nice black, shit gray, a little bit less shit gray with a little bit of nice aluminum. So that's fine. It's a nice some nice contrasts, as the fancy people say. But we're looking good here. I also just went and picked up some radiator hoses, lower hose, upper hose. This is for the steam port to the throttle body, and then some clamps because I don't trust those old spring-loaded ones. And then I always like to get concentrate. I don't like getting the pre-mixed, so we've got to mix some water with that later. But look what just came in the mail. Of course, my water pump didn't come yet, but I've been very excited to get these bad boys on the truck. Oh god. Oh yeah, the truck. Oh, come on. Can I pinch it? My knees? Okay. Look at that. Look at that. All the fancies. Nothing but the best for good old Holly here. So let's get them slapped on. Alrighty folks, we're fully wrapped up. So I already topped off the coolant, may or may not have overfilled it, so it came out of the overflow a little bit, that's fine. But we're ready to fire it up, see what the hell happens. So if we take a gander past my heinous paint job, we got nothing coming down like we used to. Everything is still dry, oily, but dry, and that's obviously not from the water pump, but we're dry so far. So we're looking good, and our fan is not contacting the shroud because I cut those little scraps off that it hit at some point and cut up, but we're looking pretty good. Sorry for the shit audio ahead of time, but hasn't gone over 210. It's running and driving pretty good. I haven't gone like wide open throttle from down low to see if the throttle body helped at all. Obviously we still have a check engine light though, but she's running pretty good. We haven't leaked anything out. It took down a little bit more coolant, so I gave it a little bit more, and so far so good. So I'll put a couple miles on her tonight. Alrighty guys, well I think that's where we're going to be wrapping up today's video. Obviously I'd much rather be doing some fun stuff in these videos rather than fixing things, but it is what it is. It's almost a 20-year-old vehicle, so that's just how it is sometimes. But so far, so good. I left the skid plates off so I can monitor to make sure we don't have any leaks or anything pop up, but I've been putting some miles on it and it's been a-okay. So it's good, it's nice. But I kind of wish I fixed the AC when we were in there. It's much needed on these 95-degree days. It's horrible. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.